Hello. The year is almost over, and so is the 2020 NFL season. I promised I would be back quickly, well, still quick, for the scenarios regarding the NFC. And here I am. And it's not as convoluted as the AFC, but it's pretty interesting. So, first things first. Let's check out who's how the picture stands entering the final week of the season. First off, number one, the Green Bay Packers. Packers stand at 12-3. We are number one in the conference. The Saints and Seahawks are tied for number two at 11-4 each. The Saints have the tiebreaker because they have a better conference record. They have never played each other this season, nor will they. But the 9-2 record is enough to put them at the second seed, while Seattle's at three. Um, Then at number four, of course, Washington, the Washington football team, because somebody has to lead that NFC East. Washington does so at the moment at 6-9. The wild card positions are being held by, at the moment, are being held by the Buccaneers, Rams, and the Chicago Bears. Yes, they've moved past the playoff line. The Cardinals are the one true bubble team in the NFC. Of course, the Cowboys and Giants are alive, but only for that division. Um, and of course, there are three spots remaining. The Packers, we won the North weeks ago. The Saints clinched the South on this past Christmas with the win against Minnesota, and Seattle clinched the NFC West uh, on Sunday with the with the head-to-head win over the Rams. The Buccaneers clinched the playoff spot uh, this this past week 16 as well. This past Saturday, that win against the Lions put them in the playoffs, and they are locked in as a wild card. So there's two wild card spots left. So let's not dilly dally. Let's, as Gladys Knight famously said, let's get down to the real nitty gritty and get to the scenarios. I will start it by order of seating and standings. And first off, the Packers. Packers 12-3. We're in Chicago. That's on the that's on the late window, 425 Eastern window. About that, before I continue, as I said for the AFC, the different scenarios have been divided. We're pretty much divided into certain time slots. Like in the AFC, it's the wild card teams on the early slot, which is 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and the AFC South race is on the late window, which is 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific. Uh, it's a little bit more spread out for the NFC. It's a little bit more spread out for the NFC as the NFC East. Well, part of it is on the 1 o'clock Eastern window. The number one seed race, the three teams participating in the number one the race for the top seed, all three play in that late window. All three play in that late window, 4:25 Eastern, 1:25 Pacific, and the 2020 regular season ends with the other half of the NFC East race. That's right, and it's fitting. It's fitting that the NFC East ends the 2020 season because well, 2020 of course, but this season is the 10th anniversary of the battle of the NFC worst. We all remember this, January 2nd, 2011. 7-8, the 7-8 Rams and the 6-9 Seahawks. Winner clinched the division. The Seahawks beat the Rams 16-6. And as a result, the Seahawks made history as the first sub 500 team to make the playoffs and the first sub 500 team to win the division. All in a 16 game season. Of course, the Seahawks, of course, followed that up by beating the then defending champion Saints in that infamous game that brought out beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. But yeah, so let's get down to the scenarios. First, Green Bay. We're number one in the conference. We're 12-3, and we're in Chicago. That's on the late window. Green Bay's scenario is pretty simple. If we win or tie, but more importantly, win, we stay at number one. We get that bye. We get home field throughout the NFC. We can also get it if Seattle loses or ties. So again, we are in the catbird seat. We control our own destiny as far as Christian number one. And you want to control your own destiny. You want to be able to do this yourself. You don't want to rely on help as well, because that could be damning. You may not get that help, but we control our own destiny. We win or tie, we're number one. We're number one. Okay. Saints. Saints are in Saints are in Carolina against the Panthers. That's also on the late window 4:25 Eastern. Um, Saints. The Saints can also clinch number one and get that important bye, but they'll need help. The only way, the Saints get number one seed, they have to win. Packers have to lose, and Seattle has to win. If that happens, all three teams will be tied at 12-4, and when it's a three-way tie, I think head-to-head is eliminated. So the fact that we beat the Saints won't matter, and I think conference record will win out, and the Saints will have that covered with a 10-2 conference record. So that'll give them the number one seed if that happens. And I think if that happens, we drop to number three. I think we would. We would drop to number three if that happened, because I think Seattle has an additional tiebreaker over us. Um, okay. Speaking of Seattle, they're also 11-4. They're on the road against the Niners. That game's in Arizona. Obviously, the Niners have been playing their home games in Arizona because of COVID restrictions in Santa Clara County. Now, Seattle being the bottom team in the number one seed race, they're the bottom team, but they kind of have some leeway. The only way they can get the number one seed, they have to win, we have to lose, and New Orleans has to lose or tie. So actually, yeah, they need the most to happen. If that happens, if that happens, then Seattle would be 12. Seattle would be 12-4. We'd be 12-4, and the Saints would be 11-4-1 or 11-5. And of course, when it's us and Green Bay tied, we're going to be down to number two. Um, and again, like I said, our scenario, we just have to win and we get number one. But if Seattle loses, they are eliminated from the number one seed race, and it comes down to just the Packers and the Saints, which means we get it automatically because we would be one game up on the Saints, and we'd have head to head. So the best we can do is tie New Orleans. So it wouldn't. So our scenario, it doesn't matter what the Saints do, but we just need to get it done. Okay. I mentioned the NFC East already in a separate video, but I'll just say it again. I'll just say it again. You can check out my previous video, a video I posted on Monday regarding the NFC East. But the scenario for the NFC East is simple. Washington gets it with a win. If they tie, Dallas cannot win. Dallas gets it. Dallas gets it with a win and a Washington loss or tie. If they tie, Washington has to lose. And the Giants can only get it if they win and Washington loses. Um, and of course, whoever wins, of course, Dallas plays the Giants. That's the only NFC game on the early window, 1 Eastern. While the NFC East, the other NFC East game, Washington and Philly, that will end the season, as I said, at 8:20 Eastern on NBC, 5:20 Pacific. And of course, if Washington loses that game, then whoever won the Dallas Giants game wins the East. Okay, last but not least, the NFC wildcard race, which is also part of the late window, 4:25 Eastern. Rams. Well, see, I should say Rams and Cardinals because they play each other. Um, the Rams currently sit at the sixth seed. The Cardinals on the outside looking in at the eighth seed. The Bears are in between at number seven. Um, but I should say Rams and Cardinals together because they play each other. And that's going to be interesting. That game's obviously going to be on TV here because, well, I live in Southern California. Uh, but again, Rams, I think, if I'm reading this correctly, the winner is in. The winner of this game is in, and I think the loser of that game could. I think whoever loses that game could be out. If Arizona loses, they're definitely out. But if the Rams beat Arizona, the Rams are in, and the Bears are in. Um, but that's what it says here. The Rams win or tie, they're in. Or if Chicago loses or tie, and they will, because Rodgers knows how to win in Soldier Field, the Rams are in. So we're definitely gonna help the Rams out. We're also gonna end up helping Arizona out, even though they don't deserve it. If they win. But yeah, but regarding Arizona, if their game against the Rams does end in a tie, then the Rams will be in, but they will still need the Bears to lose. But we'll take care of that. Bears, again, they face the Packers on that late window. Bears are in with a win because they have the 7th seed. The Bears are in with a win, or if Arizona loses, or if both teams, or if both they and Arizona end tied. So it's going to be very interesting. And part of that NFC race is on TV here. Unfortunately, that Packers Bears game will be on television here, so it's off the red zone for me. But it's going to be an interesting final Sunday for this Packers fan. I mean, this is really my game is really the only game I could just look at. However, I will keep an eye on what's going on in Arizona with Seattle and San Francisco. Because again, if we win, we get number one. If Seattle loses, we get number one. That's it. It's plain as that. And of course, again, that Rams Cardinals game, that's gonna be very interesting because whoever wins gets a playoff spot. The Rams could get in and eliminate Arizona. It's a win-win situation. If they win twice. They get in the playoffs and they eliminate a division rival. You gotta go with week 17, and you gotta go with this all division matchup schedule. So anyway, those are the NFC scenarios. And of course, I repeated the NFC East ones because I already set them in a separate video. Like I said, the year is almost over. We're pretty much down to the final. We're down to the final day of the calendar year. Thank goodness, right? 2020 finally ending. So with that, I say enjoy week 17 responsibly, and enjoy the new year responsibly. And have a great 2021 when that ball drops in about 24 hours.